Hello! Today I will be teaching the basics and the general introduction when coming across angles in geometry. To start, an angle is basically a combination of two rays with a common endpoint or a vertex where they intersect. For example, we have over here EF, but if we were to draw, say, point G over here, we can connect it together. Let me draw that a little bit straighter. Connect it over there, and we can see that these are two rays with the same vertex as E, since that's where they both intersect. The vertex actually serves both of its role for the labeling of the angle and its individual ray, but if we were to refer to the angle in its name, we would have to name it a specific way. Usually people believe that you can either name it the angle by its vertex, because that's what both rays have in common, or use any point, but that's incorrect because in most cases, you will be shown multiple angles, and if you were to name it by its vertex, a misinterpretation could happen. I'll explain that further in a minute so you can get a better understanding, but let's take a closer look at the overall basics of how to label an angle. Using the same angle, we will notice that we have 3 points over here, which we can call F, E, G. Now, in written form, we start with the angle sign, which kind of looks like a Pac-Man, but with a flatter bottom. We call it FEG. Or we could also call this angle GEF. Either way is fine and correct, as long as, and you probably already have noticed, as long as the E or the vertex is in the middle of the lettering. Then again, either way is correct. Now, if we were to go back to what I was saying earlier about multiple angles at once and why it matters to label it this specific way, we have to understand that once again, angles have the same vertex, and simply calling it by the vertex cannot refer to just one angle. So let's say we had a line segment over here. We'll call this one HI. Over here, we have line segment JK. Now you can notice already that now these line segments have become rays because they have an endpoint. I'll put it in a different color. They have an endpoint that automatically separates them and only one side continues on. We'll call this intersection F. Now, if someone were to ask you what the name of this angle was, you can't simply just call it F, because, again, that's offering the possibility of the angle name being either referring to this one over here, or this one over here. Each have their own specific names. And if you look at this example over here, you can see that we can name the exact same way if we were to refer just this angle. Over here, we can call this angle IFK. We could also call it angle KFI. Again, either way is fine and correct as long as the F, or the vertex, still remains in the same place. It goes the same way for the rest of the angles. This one over here, I'll use a different color. This one over here, HFK, or angle KFI. Now, with labeling, you could also see that that continues on and on. You probably get the gist of it already. But with labeling angles, we also come across the size and the measurements. You could have a small angle. I'll use a different color. You could have a small angle over here. Or you could have a large angle over here. Either way, angles are basically measured on the same concept, which is how open and closed the circle is. The angle is, sorry. You can see that this one is more closed than the one over here. Therefore, this one is relatively larger. Even with just by looking at it, you can determine that this one is the larger angle. However, someone may be tempted to call this one a 90-degree angle or a right angle, if anyone, if you know. But even if that isn't the correct measurement, you can still, with eyeballing it and seeing how open and closed this angle is, you can see which one is greater. Hopefully this helped, and have a great day.